All right, so buckle up, everybody, because today we're diving headfirst into something pretty massive.
Oh yeah, big changes happening down under.
Big changes indeed. We're talking about Australia, and they've just completely overhauled their entire skilled visa
I
program.
really have, like, torn it down and rebuilt it.
Exactly. Out with the old and in with the new, and it has a lot of people talking.
It does. Makes you wonder, are other countries going to follow suit? But we'll get to that later.
Right, for sure. A lot to unpack here. But first, for anyone who hasn't been glued to immigration news lately, let's do a quick recap.
Yeah, a little level set never hurts.
So the old system, the temporary skill shortage visa, or TSS, it's gone. Kaput.
Yep. As of December 6th, 2024. That's the cutoff.
Right, applications closed, but if you already applied before that, no worries, you're still in the running. They'll process everything the old way.
Exactly. They're not just going to leave people hanging.
But going forward, it's all about the new kid on the block, the Skills and Demand Visa, or SID.
And the SID, well, it's a whole different ballgame.
So let's break it down, shall we?
Let's do it.
The big idea here, and this is straight from the reports we've got, is that Australia is really trying to hone in on attracting very specific talent.
And not just any talent, the talent that they believe is going to be essential for their economic growth.
Right, it's strategic.
Yeah.
They're thinking about the future, not just filling a few holes right now.
Exactly. And they've actually created a whole new list of in-demand professions.
The Core Skills Occupation List, right? The CSOL.
That's the one.
Over 450 different occupations on there. Like, wow.
It's a pretty long list. Everything from the obvious, doctors, nurses, engineers.
Right, your typical highly skilled professions.
But then it gets kind of interesting because you'll see beekeepers on there. Beekeepers. And yacht builders. Yacht builders? Yep. I mean, it really shows you they're thinking broadly about what their economy needs,
Yeah.
Agriculture, tourism, you name it.
So it's about building a diverse and resilient economy for the future. Okay, so you've got this massive list of occupations, but the SID actually has different streams, right? Like different pathways depending on who you are and what you do.
Exactly. It's not one size fits all.
So let's break those down a little bit. We've got the core skills stream, which, if I'm reading this right, is for people whose occupation is on that CSL list we were just talking about.
You got it. And there's a minimum salary requirement for the core skills stream.
AUD 73,150, to be exact.
Not a small chunk of change.
No, definitely not. But then there's the specialist skills stream. And this one is really interesting.
Yeah, this is where things get a little bit different.
Different how?
Well, for starters, there is no occupation list.
What? So it doesn't matter what you do.
Nope. Doesn't matter. But there's a catch.
There's always a catch, right?
Always. This time, the catch is a much higher salary threshold. AUD 135,000.
Wow. So basically they're saying if you're a high earner, you're in, no matter what.
Pretty much. I mean, it's a signal that they're really looking for that top-tier talent.
Makes you wonder, though, doesn't it? Could this end up excluding some valuable people?
It's definitely a concern, someone early in their career who's brilliant, but maybe hasn't had the time to reach that salary level yet.
Right, or someone working in a field that isn't as highly paid, but they have these groundbreaking ideas.
Absolutely. It's a trade-off. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out in practice.
For sure. Now, we also can't forget about that third stream, the labor agreement stream. This one is getting a bit of a makeover too, right?
Yes, it's being renamed the Essential Skills Stream, but to be honest, the details are still a bit fuzzy.
Yeah, still under wraps. I guess we'll have to wait and see what they cook up.
Definitely.
Okay, so the requirements for the SID, they're not exactly a walk in the park, right?
No, not really.
But Australia is offering some pretty sweet perks for those who do make the cut.
Oh yeah, they're pulling out all the stops to make this attractive.
Like top of the list, you get a pathway to permanent residency.
That's huge. That's a game changer for a lot of people. I mean, it's not just a temporary work visa. It's the chance to build a whole life in Australia.
It's security. It's belonging. It's knowing you can put down roots and not worry about having to pack up and leave in a few years.
Absolutely. And that's a really powerful incentive.
And on top of that, they've actually reduced the work experience requirement compared to the old TSS visa.
Yeah, it used to be a bit higher.
Right, so now it's 1 year less experience needed.
Which is a big deal for people who are maybe just starting out in their careers, but have tons of potential.
It opens doors, gives them a chance to get their foot in the door and really make a go of it.
Exactly. And in today's world, with people moving around so much, it makes Australia a lot more competitive.
So to sum it all up, Australia has basically turned their skilled immigration system upside down. It's all about attracting those highly skilled individuals, filling those specific needs, bringing in those high-earning specialists, and offering them the opportunity to build a life in Australia.
And I think the big question here, the one that we're all going to be watching play out, is whether this new approach is going to become a model for other countries.
Right, because a lot of countries are facing skills shortages these days.
Exactly. So will they start copying Australia's playbook? Will we see a global shift in how countries attract and retain talent?
And what will that mean for the global economy, for individual workers, for the future of work itself?
Lots of big questions.
But that's what makes this so fascinating, right? It's not just about Australia. It's about the ripple effects, the changes this could trigger around the world.
And for anyone listening, I think the takeaway here is pay attention. Watch what happens next, because this is just the beginning.
And the next time you hear about, I don't know, a big tech company opening a new office somewhere or a country experiencing a sudden boom in certain industries, think about these skilled visa programs.
Because they might just be the driving force behind those changes.
Food for thought, for sure. All right, well, that about wraps up our deep dive into Australia's new skilled visa program. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Until next time.